Welcome back to
Living a Man in Prayer.
Today we're going to be talking about our summer garden and the plants that are doing well and thriving. Gardening can be a little addictive. We started out with a few plants and every year add a little bit more. We haven't always been successful. There's been plenty of failures. But through observing and researching, there's always ways to problem solve, and we love gardening. The first plant that has done exceptionally well is the Everglades tomato. And I feel like I can't kill these things. They just keep spreading. Every little tomato that goes onto the ground creates more. So all these little plants down here are baby Everglades tomatoes. So if you want any, just let me know. Really, all you need is a seed from one of the tomatoes. We recently just picked all the tomatoes, so you're not going to see ripe ones right now. But that's how small they are. Let me see if I can put my finger next to it so you guys can see how teeny they are. So I pretty much just use these in salads, or just pick them right off the vine and eat them. When I'm out here gardening and the kids and I we just kind of walk right over here and eat them off. So Eli, tell me, what do you think you're going to do with all these little extra baby ones?
Give them away.
Yeah, right, we might as well share them since there's so many of them. They're growing all over compost and all the other garden beds as well. So that's our Everglades tomato. Our Roma tomatoes seem to be doing pretty well. We just planted these from seed. I think we have about 4 of them, but one of the main mistakes I always do is I plant them too close together when they're little baby seedlings, and you don't realize how big they're going to be. So there's one there, and then this giant pile here, there's like 3 of them rooted. So next year I need to make sure that I plant them further apart, because of course they grow bushier than you think. Bell peppers do exceptionally well in the heat as well. We have about 3 of them here, but these plants have been here for a while. They were here since last summer, so they're a little bit older looking.
How did that tomato plant get all the way over here?
I'll tell you, it's definitely the Everglades tomato. Those seeds drop and they grow no matter what, so it's a great plant to have. You could probably go in a pot. We've never left them in a pot for too long, but yep. So bell peppers are growing still in the middle of summer.
What's that?
That's a little pepper we planted from seed. And then over here we have jalapenos. Any of you guys been here over the summer? Jalapeno dip is like my favorite thing to make. Cheesy jalapeno dip. Love it. Hey, jalapeno plant does really well as well. Easton, what's your favorite vegetable?
Corn.
Corn. He's definitely has his Nebraska blood in him. So this is our first attempt at growing corn. We did 5 rows of about 20, I would guess, in each row to help with pollination. Honestly, it was a pain once it got about maybe 4 inches because the worms were so bad. So I have to come out after every rainstorm, which is pretty much every day in Florida, and spray it with some BT, which is just an organic worm killer that dries up the worms as they eat it. But we finally have our baby corns, and it's so exciting. We saw the first one, Adams, around Father's Day, so he's excited to have lots of baby corn. So there's some babies you can see popping up. And now the corn stalks are a lot smaller than we probably thought. We planted a little bit later in the season. So next year we need to make sure we plant earlier, which is probably a gardener's #1 problem, is always planting too long or too late. But we're excited. I mean, there might be little tiny corns, but you know, it's a first attempt and it was fun, a fun little experiment to do with the corn. Hi, Ethan, what are you standing in?
Sweet potato.
Hey, and how did you plant them?
So we got potato with what is it called?
Like a little shoot coming out of it?
Shoot. We planted that, and then all of a sudden, thousands of tomatoes.
Potatoes. I know. It grows in a vine, and those little vines have little shoots that go into the ground and just grow the sweet potatoes. We had a worm problem, so you can see all the little holes, but I can never find the worms. They're just so small, so I'll just spray it once in a while, but it doesn't affect the sweet potatoes down below that much. We will harvest them October 1st, let them dry out a little bit, and then the sweet potatoes will be ready to eat. And what is that, Eli?
This is a blackberry.
Blackberry. You gonna eat that one?
Yeah.
And blackberries thrive in summertime. This is one that's just inside the pot. Alright, mint is another herb that does well in the heat. I have 2 types here. I have this one here that's always been in a pot, but I just replanted it over here because it got so big. And this mint actually was in our tower garden, and I had ordered it as a seedling, before I knew that it was really invasive in the tower garden, where it actually starts growing in the inside tube where the water drips down and starts blocking the water flow. So I pulled it out of the tower garden, and it's so neat just taking things out of a hydroponic and putting it in soil, and it's thriving. So it just shows that really plants don't need necessarily the dirt, it's just the nutrients that help them survive. Kids love planting okra. It's fast growing and it has the most beautiful flowers, and then the okra comes out of it. It may not be their favorite to eat, but it's the most fun to watch. Okay, something new we started this summer that I heard grew really well is a long bean, and it grows on a trellis. Again, the kids just kind of planted these seeds, and we decided, oh, we'll give it a try. We planted them too close together, and our trellis is not high enough. So next year we'll plan on using the round one here and let the long beans just grow over the top, and then the beans will just hang down. It'll be easy to pick. But the beans grow, from the videos I've seen, it's like over a foot long, and then you can just cut them and stir fry them and eat them that way. Okay, finally our last little vine is a Seminole pumpkin, which is heat tolerant. Is loving this over here though, a little bit in the shade from the okra during the day. We haven't, I don't know, I think I've seen one or two buds that are actual pumpkins, but all of them are the males. So if you look at where the flowers are, if you see the very long stem, those are the male flowers, but they have to pollinate with the female, which is more of the nub that comes from the vine, which I cannot see any. See, all of these are the males. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I'm probably gonna have to hand pollinate because we only have one or two vines. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it and see if we need to pollinate them. Yeah, I don't see any female flowers so far, but kids want to grow a pumpkin for Halloween, so we're not on track for that.